Yes, class 10th. In the previous video, we have discussed about preparation of acids. Today, we will discuss about chemical properties of acids. Okay, so first chemical property is reaction with active metals. We all know, we have discussed these all things in class 9th, 8th as well, that more reactive metal will displace less reactive metal, right, from its solution. Now, this is the reactivity series. We have done reactivity series starting from potassium till platinum gold, right? So, when more reactive metal react with dilute acids, when metals react with dilute acids, they give salt and hydrogen gases evolved along with heat. Understand? Like we have taken example of zinc. Zinc react with HCl, it will form zinc chloride, ZnCl2, and hydrogen gases evolved. So keep this thing in mind. Whenever metal react with acid, whenever any metal react with acid, they will form salt, hydrogen gases evolved along with heat, right? Next reaction, next example we have taken magnesium react with HCl. It will give MgCl to magnesium chloride, hydrogen along with heat. It will make the test tube hotter. See, when we react zinc with HCl, test tube in this case also will become hot. But in case of magnesium, it will become even hotter than zinc because magnesium is more reactive than zinc. Understand? Keep this thing in mind. We should not react sodium and potassium with any of the acids because these two are already very reactive element. They may cause explosion, right? Next, I have said metal react with acid. Any metal react with acid, it will give salt and hydrogen gas. But there is one acid, that is nitric acid. When we react metal with nitric acid, instead of forming hydrogen gas, it will form H2O. Why? In the previous video also, I have told you HNO3, nitric acid, is a strong oxidizing agent, right? It is a strong oxidizing agent. So, instead of giving H2 as acting as a oxidizing agent, it will make H2O. It will oxidize hydrogen, H2O. Understand? That is why we will never use HNO3 with any of the metal to get hydrogen, because instead of hydrogen we will get H2O, right? Only magnesium and manganese can produce H2, can produce hydrogen reacting with HNO3. Keeping in mind, it should be very dilute. Only 1% of HNO3 can make H2. That too reacting with magnesium and manganese only. Mg plus HNO3 gives MnNO3, Mn plus HNO3 give MnNO3 whole twice plus hydrogen, provided this nitric acid should be very dilute. Only 1% of acid should be there. Understand first part of it? Next, action of dilute acids on salts. Okay, dilute acids, carbonate, bicarbonate. Okay, metal carbonates and metal bicarbonates. You have to learn these things. Metal plus acid react with metal, gives metal salt and hydrogen. Similarly, whenever metal carbonates and bicarbonates react with acid, they will give salt, water and carbon dioxide. Understand? So we have taken one example, calcium carbonate. When calcium carbonate react with acid, it should be dilute. Dilute acid, it will form CaCl2 having valency, calcium having valency 2, chlorine having valency 1. They will crisscross and form CaCl2. H and CO3. It will actually form H2CO3. Okay. Like HCO3, carbonate having valency 2, H1, it will form H2CO3. They will further decompose into H2O and CO2. So we directly write it like this. So keep this thing in mind. Whenever metal carbonate react with acid, they will form salt, calcium chloride, water and carbon dioxide. Similarly, take sodium carbonate Na2CO3 plus HCl gives NaCl plus H2CO3 or H2O plus CO2. We will write it like this. Right? See, CaCO3 plus H2SO4 similarly will give CaSO4 plus H2O plus SO2. But students, in this case, this equation is right. But in this case, the calcium sulfate that is formed is insoluble. When it is insoluble, it will hinder the reaction. It will stop the reaction. Okay, so practically this reaction is not possible. Carbon dioxide produced will not properly get produced. Understand? Because it is a insoluble precipitate. Next, sodium hydrogen carbonate, it will form NaCl plus H2CO3. It will further break into H2O and CO2. Understand? Next, there are many more reactions. I'll show you. I can show you this reaction as well. How this thing produced. See. I have baking soda with me and vinegar with me. We use this vinegar. You can do this activity yourself as well. When I put vinegar and then I put baking soda into this, see what happens. Can you see this reaction? What is this? These bubbles are showing carbon dioxide gas. So, understand? Whenever baking soda, formula of baking soda is NaHCO3, right? Formula of baking soda is NaHCO3 and vinegar is acetic acid CH3COOH. When they both will react, metal bicarbonate along with acid, it will produce salt, sodium acetate, H2O and CO2. You have seen this reaction? Understood well? If we would have been in school, I could have shown you all the rest of the experiments as well. But unfortunately, I could not. So you have to learn these all things for now. Okay. Now neutralization reaction. We have done these all things. Neutralization reaction in which acid and base reacts to give salt and water. So we have taken NaOH, sodium hydroxide. It is a base plus acid, HNO3. It will form NaNO3 and H2O. NaNO3 and H2O. Similarly, CuO plus H2SO4 forms CuSO4 and H2O. Understand? And we can take another example as well. NaOH plus HCl gives NaCl plus H2O. Right? Third part is this. Okay. Next, when we react acids with sulfides or bisulfides, keep this thing in mind, it is sulfite. Okay, SO3. When we react acid with sulfide and bisulfide, it will give salt, water and sulfur dioxide gases evolved. Okay, sulfide, metal sulfide, Na2SO3. Sodium sulfide plus HCl gives NaCl, salt. It will form now as H2CO3, it will form HSO3. SO3 is having valency 2, H is having valency 1. When we will crisscross it, it will become H2SO3, right? It will further decompose into H2O and SO2, right? So keep this thing in mind. We don't write H2SO3 this way. We break it and write, because in this reaction or in any reaction, these compounds break up. Na2SO3 plus HCl gives NaCl plus H2SO3. It will break H2O and SO2. Similarly, in case of sodium hydrogen sulfide plus HCl gives NaCl plus H2SO3, and they will further decompose into H2O and SO2. Right. Next is metal sulfides. Sulfide S. Zinc sulfide, iron sulfide, or any metal sulfide. When react with acids, they will form salt and hydrogen sulfide gas. Hydrogen sulfide gas is having rotten egg-like smell. Rotten egg-like smell. Understand, students, whenever metal sulfides react with acid, they will form salt and hydrogen sulfide gases evolved. Next and last, reaction with chlorides and nitrates. Whenever acids react with chlorides and nitrates, they form HCl and HNO3. Both are the acids, but these are two cases. See, only few like lead and barium salts, barium chloride or barium nitrate, they form HCl and HNO3 this ways. BaCl2 plus H2SO4, they directly give HCl plus BaSO4. Similarly, in case of lead nitrate, it will form HNO3, nitrates will form nitrate, nitric acid, and chlorides will form hydrochloric acid. Lead nitrate will form nitric acid, HNO3 plus PbCl2. These two means only few like this, Ba, Pb will give salts like this, will give acids, nitric acid and HCl like this. Otherwise, all the chlorides and nitrates react only with H2SO4, concentrated H2SO4. All the chlorides and nitrates react only with H2SO4 on warming. After heating it up to some temperature, they will give HCl and HNO3 except these. All other metal chlorides and nitrates. Sodium chloride, when we heat it below the temperature 200 degrees Celsius, it will give sodium bisulfate. Okay. When we react NaCl with H2SO4 above 200 degrees Celsius, it will give sodium sulfate and HCl. Right. Similarly, potassium nitrate. Nitrate will give nitric acid. Remember this thing. Nitrates will give nitric acid. Okay. Chloride salts will give hydrochloric acid. Potassium nitrate, when we react it with H2SO4 above 200 degrees Celsius, similarly as in the above case, it will form K2SO4 plus HNO3 plus HNO3. Then we will balance these all equations. See, K2SO4, right, and HNO3. Understand, students? So in this chemical properties, we have done first part in which active metal and acid react with salt, react to form salt and water, salt and hydrogen gases evolved, right? Next, action with dilute acids on salt, where metal carbonates and bicarbonates react with acid, form salt, water and carbon dioxide. In neutralization reaction, acid and base react to give salt and water. Sulfides and bisulfides react with acid to form salt, water and sulfur dioxide gas. When you will learn these things, no reaction will be difficult for you. Okay, don't cram the things, just learn this upper part. Whenever basic oxide and acid react, it will form salt and water. Whenever metal sulfides and bisulfite react with acid, they will form salt, water and sulfur dioxide. Understand? So, rest we will discuss in the next video.